Welcome back, viewers. You're still watching The Press, and we're reaching you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. We've now been joined by our guest, Engineer Toba Owojaiye, who's a public affairs analyst. He helped us analyze on some of the headlines we read out to you earlier. And do not forget, this is also the segment where our phone lines are now open for you to call in and join the conversation this morning. You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning. Today that you're wearing white, it looks like you came peaceful.
Yes, a day of peace.
Good to have you in the studio today.
Thank you very much.
Right, there are so many stories that made the headline today. In fact, we're just going to be dissecting them one after the other. So let me take this one that started from yesterday about Dangote Refinery. Says operators seek federal government intervention as marketers opt for fuel imports. Dealers slam IOC's NNDPRA silence and dirty fuel import accusation. That's on the front page of the Punch newspaper. There's been a lot of accusations that there's been a lot of sabotage against the Dangote Refinery, and that makes me think that maybe that's why our refineries have not been functional. What's your take on this?
Yes, we've said that all the while, that there are 4 cabals in Nigeria. They are not in presidency. They are the deep states. They are the people behind the people. So they don't care who you vote. They only focus on controlling these 4 variables: food, fuel, forex, and security.
Food,
fuel, forex,
and security.
These are the variables that continually control the country. So while you're trying to repair our own refineries, and Dangote is coming up with his own refinery, and anybody comes up with his own refinery, these people will continually try to sabotage it for their private gains. And this is why every government must continue fighting them. No government should give up. No government should leave it as, we can't get this done, let's just follow the trend, let's go back to subsidy. We are not going back to subsidy. We are not going back to subsidy. This must end. Refineries must work. Dangote himself too should know that he may not be able to make as much profit as he plans to at the beginning.
The man seems
when MTN came to Nigeria, they planned to make a profit in the first 10 years, and they got their profit in the first 1 year. They broke even in the first 1 year. Nigeria is a good business market. So let this run. You may not make your money in the first 3-4 months of sales, but the daily purchase will bring you good. The goodwill of the people will bring you overboard. Start with that. Forget the people who want to sabotage you. Forget the prices they want to sell. Sell at a price that Nigerians will want to buy, and Nigerians will forget them.
You said Nigeria is a good marketplace.
Yes, it is.
That statement reminds me of something I wanted to bring up on social media, but yes. I think I'm still going to leave it for social media segment. So okay. I'm going to bring you back to that statement. Now, so still focusing straight up on Dangote Refinery and yes. the sabotage. Part of his complaints is that is the issuing of licenses.
Yes.
That they issue license to international bodies, which is also affecting his business. Which means that why not concentrate on the locals first? Let the locals be first satisfied before you consider talking about international bodies. And now people are even talking about importation and talking about dirty fuel. So if you give more power to your local refiners, won't it even be much more of advantage? Because petrol, we know, actually affects every aspect of our lives, from transportation to feeding to everything. The reason why there's food inflation today, people will tell you, is because the cost of, when I finish buying, transporting it from here to here is very expensive. Even the locally made items, aside from the fact that we have insecurity in some of the farms, that's even just on one side. But talking about the fuel now, it has affected every other aspect of our lives. Do you think that it is in a good place for NNDPRA for them to keep issuing licenses to other international bodies?
In my opinion, they should continue issuing licenses. Nobody owns Nigeria. Dangote doesn't own Nigeria. International community doesn't own Nigeria. Modular refineries, you have to, the government, see, government is about policy.
Okay.
And about firmness in political will. What we want is fuel to get to Nigerians at the cheapest price. The government has to make Dangote, Buhari Refinery, Warri Refinery, importers, bunkers, everybody should know that what we are looking for is fuel to get to our people at the cheapest price. So Dangote can't expect us to protect him and protect his business. We are not here to protect individual businesses. Buhari did that in the food sector for 8 years and we got nothing. Buhari shut the borders to food, saying he's going to, food will be grown locally. And when he did that, over years, there was no evidence that there's anything. He gave fertilizer, he gave grains, he gave seed, he gave anchor borrowers. And by the time the farmers finally came out with their products, they only asked for how much is it selling in the market today. They didn't sell at any discount. They didn't remember that they got seeds, they got fertilizer, they got closed business. When they wanted to sell, they still sold for the highest price. So we can't go back to that. Anybody wants to sell fuel, if you have fuel to sell to Nigeria for 100 naira, please bring it on board. This is what we're saying. If you can't keep up with that, go to another line of business. We will protect you and then you'll be giving some people kickbacks. See, this is what is killing Nigeria. Dangote or anybody can afford to take over the whole country, run it, and give kickbacks of 100 billion. It's nothing. But it wouldn't trickle down to every Nigerian. The greatest thing is to look at what affects every Nigerian most. What will benefit every Nigerian most. If Putin from Russia will bring us fuel at 100 naira, we will collect the fuel. Thank you very much.
Okay, whilst we look for what will benefit Nigeria the most, I just hope that we consider working on our own refineries and try to stop those sabotages, because it comes to a question of, is it political will issue? I'm talking about sabotaging the refineries from functioning for the last 25 years.
You see, Nigerians are a very funny set of people and very wise. We are all wise, according to Asake. Some of us are wise, the remaining are overwise. Okay? Everybody's trying to beat the system. The bunkerers are pushing it. The first product that is easiest to produce from bunkering is diesel. So you see them supplying a lot of diesel. You would see big filling stations going to buy that diesel from them at 56 naira, 70 something naira, at such ridiculous prices, and then come back to the market and still sell it back. That is what they call dirty fuel. Okay? So, but if that will benefit a few people, those bunkering, those who sponsored it, those who are protecting it officially to stop them, but collecting kickbacks so that people to benefit. The owners of the filling stations, once it gets to the owner of the filling station, the staff who is selling it gets no benefits. He's going to be given the same salary he's given. The people buying it get no benefits. This is why a few people are becoming rich and a large chunk of people are becoming poor. This is the cone we have to inverse.
The rich gets richer, the poor gets poorer.
When we fix these things, then our local economies will thrive. Anybody coming into Nigeria knows that business will be fair. We are still going back to this matter. Because once our policies continue to somersault, every foreign investor is in trouble. Once our policies continue to somersault, and our naira keeps going downward, anybody bringing money to Nigeria is already at a loss, no matter how much profit he's making.
You know, this headline got my attention.
Okay.
It says food crisis worsens. How naira crash, insecurity, smuggling, others crippled food production. Post-harvest losses hit $9 billion. Farmers pay billions as ransom to terrorists. Now, part of the reasons why we talk of food inflation is because of insecurity, aside the fact that fuel subsidy was removed. But at least, first of all, that is one of the major issues. But now, in fact, my guest yesterday was saying he needs tomatoes, fresh tomatoes for his health. But it has become scarce and expensive, which means that you have to spend more. In fact, people keep saying, if people find you eating stew nowadays, they'll be like, how did you afford to buy tomatoes in the market?
Yeah.
And it's more like it's becoming gold, and we find people improvising already, replacing tomatoes with cucumber, with carrots. That's if you can even find carrots in the market. So, you know, these conversations keep coming up every day, and we talk about terrorists demanding for ransom. Now, we found a Northern Governors Forum, Northwest Governors Forum, discussing security challenges and talking about making funds available. The federal government have pledged about 51 billion naira to help fight insecurity in the northwest. Of course, they are including some states like Benue alongside. Now, do you think that this can be curbed anytime soon, especially looking at Sultan of Sokoto saying it's going to end, this is not going to be easy, it's going to take decades. Once someone says decades, it could take 20, 30, 40 years for insecurity to end in the north. And northern governors think that this can end in probably a few days with the kind of funds that they have on ground and the plans that they have. I want you to dissect this. How possible is this?
Remember that insecurity, I said, is still one of the 4 cabals.
Sure.
So this is not you're not facing a normal problem. You're facing a problem that has thinkers behind it, that has people having meetings behind it, that has people who have structure behind it. This is the problem you're having with insecurity in the north. I've mentioned it before. What brought about insecurity in the north? Insecurity in the north was triggered because the north felt that power will not return to it. There's nothing else here. This is what happened. Obasanjo got 8 years, handed over to Yaradua. Yaradua died after 2 years. Some people in the north still believe that Obasanjo purposely handed over to a sick man so that he would die. They believe that that was a political play by the south. And inadvertently, power now returned to the south. Then Goodluck now did another 6 years, which made the southern rule 14 years and made the northern rule 2 years. And after that 14 years, Goodluck was now looking for another 4 years, which will have made it 18 years of southern rule. And Goodluck was also looking for changing the law to become a single tenure of 6 years. So that will have made Goodluck president for 12 years. And did not gather together, gang up together and say this won't happen. No matter how nice you are, no matter the amount of Almajiri schools you build, no matter what you do, this will not happen. So we saw across political lines, we saw them support the person with the largest cult following in the north, which is Buhari. We still saw 3 big men who want to contest in 2027 go and greet him over the weekend.
That's another conversation.
That's another question. But he's still that strong despite the state that Nigeria is in. Not because he has done well, but because of the mindset of the north. There is a mindset of the north.
Okay.
If you don't change that mindset of the north, you cannot touch insecurity in the north. One person says, one man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. I want to say that again. One man's terrorist is another man's freedom fighter. So while you call these people terrorists, some other people in their domain see them as freedom fighters. Until this is resolved, someone who is a freedom fighter cannot at the same time be a terrorist. Somebody is wrong in the analysis. This is what is keeping Nigeria where it is. What the Sultan is saying is that he knows that this variable has not changed. Tinubu is on seat now, and 3, 4, 5 top northern people are planning to unseat him in 4 years. And they've started their meetings. They've started their visitations. Now the south and other people have said, this won't happen. He's going to continue. So these are all the things that make them still keep their pet leopard terrorism in their house. Just in case power doesn't come 2027, power must return 2031 to the north. So they won't kill this insecurity. They will pet it. They will keep it and see if they will need it to collect power. But we can come to an understanding as a nation, elders, that let this power swing. We can even put it in our constitution, that let this power swing, so that nobody has the need to keep a Boko Haram as a pet to get power every 8 years. It's killing our economy, it's killing our farming, it's killing our forex, it's killing our unity, it's killing our education. What are we saying?
Whilst I look at your analysis of insecurity as some sort of political tussle in the north, I still look at it from the angle of most and the core people that are being affected are still northerners. So do you think that this explanation would justify.
Yes, have you not heard of human shields? When Israel was striking Hamas, you think they just stood? They put children in front of them. See, you need to understand the mentality of terrorism. Terrorism says, let's sacrifice a few for our ultimate goal. That's how it functions. Why would somebody bomb his own community? Because they believe that anybody lost in this struggle is worthwhile if we accomplish this struggle. So those are the things that this must change. When a sultan tells you decades, he's not joking. He's sitting on information that if the culture does not change, anything can change in 2 years apart from culture and mindset. Mindset and culture cannot change in two years. That's what he is talking about.
Okay, we have President Tinubu talking tough about this insecurity. He says he won't slow down until Nigeria is completely secure. We find a lot of times that presidents come out and speak. Do you think that his statements could be any different?
He wants to end this. He knows without this you can't get any foreign investment. You see, anybody who has money is thinking of his money, is thinking of making profit on his money, at least 2% on his money. He'll feel safe. But when you are bringing in $100 million to Nigeria, you now begin to think of where should I put it. There's a reason why Dangote put his refinery in Lekki. There's a reason why he didn't put it in Bayelsa or Rivers. He has to put it where he's sure that in the next 20-30 years there's no demonstration that's going to burn it off. He's going to make sure that it's in a place in which he has seen consistent development. He has seen businesses protected. He has seen crises come and go and all the shops were not burnt. Are you understanding me? So
absolutely.
Once you get to a place in which there's a small crisis and all the businesses are affected, you don't want to put your money there. It is a business decision. Why will I put my money in a place that will burn than a Lagos state that I've not had 20 terrorism attacks in the last 10 years? I want my business safe. I want to make returns on my money. So once we keep this insecurity, there are many states, no matter how many times you travel abroad, the investor is watching the news. He's watching to see what is happening in that place. How many people are kidnapped? How many shell workers are kidnapped there? What was the ransom like? Then you see a case where somebody is kidnapped, ransom is paid, and he's still killed. And they want an investor to go there.
Still talking about insecurity. What do you make of Southern governors' statements that they insist on state police and insist that as chief security officers of their states, they should have the first control of security of the states?
I believe that we should have regional, we cannot just jump from national policing to state policing.
Okay.
We've not seen the governors show that level of responsibility yet. What I suggest, and I've said before, let's start from regional policing. Let the Southwest take Amotekun, make it into a solid brand that covers their region. Let the Southeast repick, all the 6 governors will be in control of it. So that one governor cannot usurp complete authority over his state and do and undo, right? He will need to talk with his other 5 or 6 governors in that region. Do the same thing in the South-South. So no governor has too much power, but he has a say on a small table. Are we understanding me? So if we cascade from national policing to regional policing, in few years' time, we'll now be ready for state policing. Before we get to state policing, we must already have what Tinubu is pushing for, local government autonomy. Because if a governor has control of the police, then that governor is going to serve for 8 years, no matter what he does.
Why do you say that? He will use them for elections?
He will use them for everything. Right now, one of the only fears of governors is that you have an issue, the federal government can remove the security that you have. Because you're not in control of them. So the governors are still a bit tempered right now. When they have their police, they have all their security apparatus, you will see demigods.
Talking about governors, demigods, politics, let's pick this interesting headline on Nigerian News Direct, and maybe dynamics in politics as well. It says Daura meeting, mixed reactions trail Atiku, El-Rufai. Pay attention to the names I'm listing, please. Mixed reactions trail Atiku, El-Rufai, Ali Modu Sharif's visit to Buhari's residence. It says visit is an attempt to build Northern Alliance on seat Tinubu in 2027. That's coming from Shehu Sani. And another one says Nigerians must shine their eyes, reject regrouping of criminals, those who caused us pain, says ex-can boss higher. And then meeting unfortunate if it has any connection with 2027, says activist Abdul Bako. Do you think that this kind of Daura meeting with, ex-president Muhammadu Buhari and these other calibers of people has anything to do with 2027?
100% yes, it does. You see, politics is very clear for people who understand politics. Politics is clearer than ABCD. Once you understand it. You see, Buhari has been insulted for 1 year at least. Let's forget the 9 years he was insulted. But he has left power for 1 year. And everybody went for Salah. And many of them had to go Hajj abroad. Buhari stayed in Nigeria and walked from the mosque to his house. Walked on foot. And the crowd was massive.
Battalion.
Massive support. They were inside their bulletproofs. So to see this man not in a bulletproof, still working in his community, is a cult following in the north. That is goodwill in the north. You don't see it that way, but that's how the north sees it. He has goodwill in the north, and the people still hail him. And goodwill is the strongest currency of politics.
But you
go and affiliate with him. You go and stay around him. Look at when Ningi, Senator
Abdul Ningi,
yes, was suspended, and it was proved that some of the points he made was right. Everybody started going to visit Ningi. The same people now watch it. El-Rufai went to visit Ningi. Atiku had to come back from Dubai to go and visit Ningi. So this is how the North thinks. Once the northern people start hailing you, everybody who also wants power begins to want to associate with you, hang around with you, snap with you, just power by association. So this is a game, but it's very early. Buhari knows them better than that. I don't believe Buhari will make a play on Tinubu. Buhari has had his time. Tinubu supported him when Atiku contested against him. So he's not that dumb. He has been there for 8 years. Tinubu has not called him for any probing. Tinubu has respected him, has visited him twice. So he's just going to play along and let them waste their time.
But looking at the Muhammadu Buhari personality, especially when it comes to, especially looking at the last 2023 elections, he had this sort of nonchalant attitude towards everything, and he felt like let the best man win, right? Even though eventually at the polling units he showed us the person he actually did vote for.
Yes.
People have been calling him out for that anyways.
Yes.
So, but looking at that, do you think he's that person that will want to play to the gallery, to whatever it is that these people have in store or that they have coming? And I'm looking at the combination of an Atiku, El-Rufai. It's not sitting well, in my opinion.
You see, there are no politicians that are enemies. I don't know how to say it again.
Okay.
Wike and Fubara are not enemies. Wike and Atiku are not enemies. I'm trying to look for people who you think are at each other's throat. Ganduje and Kwankwaso are not enemies. Something can happen by 12 o'clock that two of them will need to speak. This is a joke on the masses. When Tinubu felt he would not get the ticket from Buhari, the moment Atiku was coming to Nigeria 2021, it was Tinubu that received Atiku at the airport. This is just a political game. I want people to understand that none of these people are fighting. Dino and Smart from my state, Dino will contest on this platform, Smart will contest here. Whoever wins, they will now defect. This one will jump from this party, jump to this one. This one will jump to this party, the two of them will contest again. Then next year, the two of them will contest, this one will win, then this one. We're just being fooled. Means that for 16 years, we're just ruled by two people in that position, deceiving us that they are fighting. So this is politics for you. They are making a play for power for 2027. The North will now weigh what they have done, weigh what Tinubu has done. Should we support them and have a problem when it's our turn? Or should we ignore their personal ambitions and just wait for our 2031 peacefully? The North is not a stupid set of people. They are actually the wisest political class. So they see through all of this. That is why someone like Shehu Sani just sees through it immediately. There's nothing special to this.
What if it's just an ordinary visit after all?
3 people cannot visit one person just like that.
Okay, so Cabals is saying Nigerians must shine their eyes and reject regrouping of criminals who caused us pain. You know, this regrouping we heard another regrouping once upon a time with Kwankwaso, Peter Obie, Atiku, and quite a number of others, you know, at some point. So it's looking like whichever group will favor me, I have to be somewhere for the ex-vice president.
It's everybody's, like I told you, everybody's pushing for it. Even the ex-CAN chairman, it's a family friend of mine, he too is pushing for something. He has finished his tenure as CAN chairman in Kaduna. There are like 3 or 4 or 5 of them that I know personally. I have their numbers, they have my number. All of them are jostling for a position that has not been appointed by the president. Should I mention it?
Please go ahead.
They're all pushing for essay to the president on religious affairs. That position has not been given after 1 year. So everybody is trying to be in the good books of the president now by becoming his attack dog. So let's see which of them gets the bite.
This is sounding like some sort of...
See, once you understand politics, everything is simple.
Okay, so we want to believe that we have a bit of an understanding of where this is headed. All right, so let's take another story. Senate insists on probing Buhari's 30 trillion naira ways and means loan. Like, I'm wondering why this conversation is just coming now. I thought it was something that should have been trashed a long time ago.
Please, they should probe it. It's a good time for them to probe it. We are waiting to see who will push the bill. I hope the Ekiti senator doesn't put his head in this one. He has pushed most of the bills from the presidency. So any bill he pushes will be seen as the presidency pushing the bill through him. So let the Senate, we want to see who is going to push this bill. I can assure you nobody in the North will push that bill.
Why did you say nobody in the North? For respect for...
You see, you need to understand. See, when you know how the people think, and the people will vote how they think, people are not going to... That's why we have very stupid leaders, because people emotionally vote. That's why we have spoiled marriages, because people emotionally commit their lifetime to somebody based on the looks or the smile or something that cannot hold the test of time. So in the North, you are doing your best not to offend the elders or the emotion of the people. As much as if you are from Kano, okay, let me pick a state like Kaduna, you are doing your best not to offend Buhari or Atiku or McCarthy, or because once you offend these people, they have a large support of people. So you play safe.
Absolutely.
That's what it's about. So
now let's take another story.
But they should probe it. They should probe it.
I believe they will. So let's take another story. This is interesting. It's a conversation we've had over and over again. I just want to reiterate it because it's on the paper. Minimum wage approved 250,000 naira demand to match inflationary trend. Labour tells Tinubu. I thought they had given up.
At this point, I don't know what Labour wants again.
They said it should accept the 250,000 naira to match the current inflation rate.
That's what I'm saying. They have said this once, twice, 5 times. Algon, who is paying local governments, say they can't pay it. Governors say they can't pay it. What I have not understood is the silence of the multinationals. We need to hear from multinationals. Can you pay this? okay, small businesses cannot pay it, SMEs cannot pay it. Let's just agree on that. No small business can pay a minimum wage of 250,000. EFCC should pick that person up immediately. Okay, so that is gone. But multinationals, can you pay your cleaners, your security 250,000? Embassies, can you pay your security 250,000? What we are talking about is this will lead to further inflation. So for me, it's 100,000. I've always said 72,000 before, but anything between 72,000 and 100,000, they should take it.
I'm wondering why it's such a big deal to have an understanding with Labour, regardless of how many times they have sittings, how many times they have discussions. It's always so hard to send a message home.
You see, Labour has the people. Labour has done a lot of strikes of late that the presidency has had to quell in at most 2 days. They have a president. You see, this is the problem when you have a presidency that listens. Did Labour go on this strike with Buhari? Buhari doesn't have your time. You can strike. He'll be reading his papers. When you are tired, you go back to work. You see, but once you have a president that listens and changes his decisions, then everybody begins to become headstrong. Everybody begins to, we no go agree, we no go agree. So this is part of it, and he shouldn't change, of course. They should come to an agreement on a position that they can take and start with. Let's pay this for the next 1 year. Just start with that. See, let's take this for 1 year and let's come back in 1 year's time. Let's pay 70. Okay? One governor has already matched it. Let's pay 70 for 1 year. And then let's watch. Let's watch if state governments can pay it. Let's watch if ministries can pay it. Let's watch this. But to jump to 250 is large. It's large.
Indeed, really large. But let's look at this on another angle. Purchase of new presidential jets insensitive. Profligate says PRP wants Tinubu to step down project, asks federal government to focus on delivering tangible benefits to Nigerian people. What do you make of getting presidential jets?
Yeah, I'm also aware that the presidency has gotten a US-based broker to sell off 3 of its jets and then find out how much it takes to add to get a more recent jet. We wouldn't want a case where our president dies in a plane crash. That's one issue.
Okay.
That's one issue sitting on its own.
That's what everybody says.
And that is, you think that jet is expensive? If that becomes an option for some people, they will pay 100 times to ensure that that happens. Power is big. Power of Nigeria, 250 million people, the biggest African country in the world. It's big to lead this country. There are people who would give 100 times that amount. So if we're selling 3 jets, it's a good thing. It means we're reducing the number of jets. That will reduce the cost of hangars, logistics on those jets. You understand? And then we'll be able to pick up on this new jet something that will be able to last for another 6, 7, 8 years and serve very well. If they sell off 3 jets, add a little bit of money, make the process transparent, ensure that the price they are buying the jet is something we can Google and see other people buy that jet at that price, then it's okay.
So it's okay to get the jets at this time?
Yes, if we sell 3 jets.
I like the fact that you had to put that clause.
Yes.
If we do.
If we sell 3 jets, we can buy 1 jet.
I hope we do. Anyways, let's move on to a particular story that I saw on social media that I'd like us to address. So Peter Obie expresses worry over exodus of multinationals. So he's been talking about the fact that about 95 trillion. You know, the first thing you said when we were having this conversation, you said Nigeria is a good ground for business.
Yes.
And I told you I was going to bring you back to a particular conversation. So this is the time where I get to bring you back to that conversation. And you also said, can multinationals pay that 250,000 naira minimum wage?
Yes.
But a lot of them are exiting Nigeria. And now we know that ShopRite is leaving Abuja come June 30th.
Okay.
Another conversation. So do you see, what do you think should have been done better in order to not let us keep losing this kind of people and losing this kind of businesses?
Is ShopRite exiting Lagos?
Specifically Abuja.
So you see, these are the things we are saying. Economy doesn't have fantasy.
Okay, let me quickly take this statement from Peter Obie.
Yes.
He says, according to the Punch, that's what he posted on his social media handle X. He said, according to the Punch, multinational firms exit Nigeria over harsh insecurity, over harsh business climate, The Guardian reports. Insecurity, high energy costs force companies to leave Nigeria. The nation states poor business environment, inconsistent policies, drive companies out of Nigeria. These companies have highlighted the same problems across board. It is clear these issues are not coincidental but symptomatic to a larger governance problem. Why are we not facing and solving these problems head on? The responsibility lies with our leadership, those we put in charge to urgently address these challenges. Tackling these issues requires creating a business-friendly environment that fosters investment, innovation, and growth. This includes prioritizing security, stabilizing our policies, and reducing energy costs. We must also cultivate a culture of transparency, accountability, and good governance, which we can build an economy that benefits all Nigerians, not just a privileged few. Let us unite to transform Nigeria into a nation conducive to business, attractive to investment, safe and prosperous for all citizens. Together, we can make Nigeria a beacon of hope and progress in Africa and the world. A new business-friendly Nigeria is possible. Let's talk about that.
I agree with him 100%.
Okay.
I agree with him 100%. Everything he said is the truth on ground. But like I told you, I picked ShopRite that you mentioned now. ShopRite is not exiting Nigeria. ShopRite is exiting Abuja. Why? Lagos has almost every single head office of every bank.
But
is
he
in
also
Lagos.
listed other places.
No, I'm just giving you. I want to talk about economy. I want to use
great.
that because people who make business decisions are not emotional. This is what I'm saying. You may have wanted to put a business in Abuja, and then you see that your ShopRite in Lagos is doing well. There's hardly any bank in Lagos making losses. So most banks are covering their profits in Lagos to augment many other states,
locations.
Even churches, okay, that on that large scale. So you now look at it as a business person. Should I be in Abuja and be running at a loss, or quit this place and just focus on where I'm making profit? It is a business decision. You cannot, you want to say, now let's go to Kano. Kano is where most, in the north, where most businesses go to, because there's less insecurity. In the last 10 years, there has not been 4 suicide bombings or kidnap incidents in Kano. So when a businessman thinks, let's span to the north, the only place he's thinking of is Kano. So that's what I'm doing with you 100%. These indices that people who do business make decisions by have to be on ground. This is what I'm saying. I agree with him 100%. These decisions that anybody using money will think about needs to be the priority of the government, which I believe is their priority as at now. But it is not a quick fix. That's what I'm saying. These are the priorities of the government. You are hearing of security, you are hearing of fighting insecurity, you are hearing of let the monetary policies be able to control itself, let it be able to float itself. You are hearing about let's remove subsidy. These are the things that long term will work out, but it's giving us present pain. See, if 20 big companies leave Nigeria and we fix these variables, 100 more companies will come. When Abba fixed only lights, right? Companies started rushing immediately just by fixing only one variable. So these are business decisions. This is nothing emotional. Nobody there likes Abba more than where they were before. It's just business.
Well, you know, part of President Bola Tinubu's agenda is to make Nigeria an attractive business hub. But how is that coming along?
it's not coming along well because the people are in pain. Somebody was mentioning in my community that they were looking at the hall of Davido's wedding, and they were looking at Samsung phones that will be given as souvenirs. I was like, don't let anybody fool you that everybody in Nigeria is poor. Mm-hmm. There are a lot of people who are still doing very well on the economy of Nigeria. I'm not dissing Davido, but I can assure you that he makes his money on the number of unemployed youths that watch his videos. See, everybody makes money on the poor. Everybody. I don't know any other person who has made money some other way. Everybody makes money directly or indirectly on the poor. We need to start working towards a commonwealth system that raises the poverty, that raises the commonwealth of the people higher. Because this is what is playing out. I don't have a problem with anybody saying they want to fix Nigeria. I think the president is in the right direction. He's following the things he has said. But the issue is they are too lavish. The presidency and the people in power are playing around with money. They're playing around with funds that makes the people wonder, are you sure you are
especially
serious about what
that
you're
say
saying?
They want to trim the expenses of the government.
Yes.
All right. Thank you very much, Engineer Toba Owojaiye. We really appreciate you for your time today.
Thank you very much.
It's been amazing talking with you. Thank you so much.
I'm grateful.
All right, viewers, that's already the cuttings on today's show. Thank you for being a part of the show, and thank you for joining us again today. I'll see you again tomorrow. I am Olamide Alhassan. Bye for now.